Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And you may be wondering, what is the God class of patch 11.1? And I have to inform you that that God class is actually, in fact, a Windwalker monk, as its abilities have scaled exponentially higher than any of the other classes' abilities in terms of damage and potential. I think particularly the two new main implementations, the Slicing Winds ability, which they took from Plunderstorm, which cracks an amazing and an astounding amount of damage, as well as the Crackling Jade Lightning. You can effectively be a Jedi as a Windwalker monk with Force Lightning and then Force Jump, and you're able to just absolutely mow people down with your cooldowns and a tremendous amount of mobility. So I gave Windwalker a go here, and we're going to be going over the footage of that gameplay in today's video to discuss like what you're doing as far as playstyle and what's going on, what are the fun points about the class, what's the exciting points about the class. And one of the biggest points is that you just do a remarkable amount of damage, and you're able to get a decent amount of uptime on a lot of classes. They've made some modifications as well to things like your Celestial Hero talent tree, so now you are able to use Celestial Conduit and actually go immune to crowd control effects. So you basically have Blade Storm. They've given you a huge update. It really feels like they are trying hard to get people to try Windwalker Monk, because Monk has historically not had a high player base or high player count towards its class. And I feel like the changes this time around, I mean, it's likely going to get a lot more players. Like I was kind of messing around on it, didn't really know what I was doing the first time I was playing it, and still having a lot of fun with it. So if you're worried about it being maybe too complicated, or you don't want to try new things and you're getting older and trying new things is becoming harder, I really don't think that's the case. I was just basically, my main game plan with it was don't repeat a button. So if I pressed jab, I'm going to press blackout kick if it's glowing. If I press jab, I have rising sun kick, I'm going to press rising sun kick. If I press jab, then I'm going to press fist of fury. And you're just bouncing jab, a different ability, jab, a different ability, jab, a different ability, and you're just bouncing between those, whatever lights up, whatever is available off cooldown, and just sending them. In this first game, I actually don't even think I used my celestial ability because I forgot what keybind it was, so I used it really late right here. You just become glowing god form. And also Monk has the Super Saiyan transmog for this patch, so I'm not trying to put two and two together there. Maybe I'm reading too much. There's Slicing Winds. Look at that. Just, oh my god. That ability is so satisfying where you charge it up. And the thing is the longer you charge it, it doesn't do more damage. It just increases the distance that you fly forward. So if you're on top of somebody, you want to just get the damage out. Look, I hardly used the ability, and it was like my number 3 damage. I didn't know what I was doing, and I just pressed it a couple of times. I think I missed it once, and it was still my number 3 damage. I think I played in a lobby against Chun-Li, who's a way more phenomenal monk than myself, and he was playing this Crackling build, and the Crackling build was doing massive damage. He was just lightning people from far away and absolutely destroying them. So it seems like you have a lot more build variety, a lot more interesting gameplay mechanics, and a lot of your cooldowns are going to be now less frustrating to use. And it honestly had a really strong fantasy and fun element to it as well. So I would highly recommend it at the moment for patch 11.1. We're charging up onto the Death Knight here. We got our Storm, Earth, and Fire and our Zwen out. This is going to amplify our damage and allow us to basically just spend all of our abilities as if we had maximum chi the entire time. So it's really fun. You can just spam Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, and whatever other abilities you want. Whirling Dragon Punch without any cost. Slicing Winds, charge it up, slam it through. Really satisfying when you're able to land it. I would love to see them incorporate more abilities like this that have kind of like player skill. You've got to decide, do I want this for mobility? Can I also double dip and get it for damage? Do I want to consider using it to run away in a position? It has many choices that you can use at any given moment in the game, and abilities like that are going to be really good, really healthy for the game. They make the player feel a lot more satisfied in their moment when they're able to land more damage. There's a lot more skill expression. So I think obviously the damage might be scaled a little bit too high at the moment because it's critting really hard, irregardless of your cooldowns. Like we'll go for it here, just Slicing Winds, and I used it there to get damage and get out of the Death Knight circle. So I charged it all the way to get maximum distance. And what's interesting about it also is that they've incorporated the Evoker's mechanic of charged up attacks, which they said they were going to leave to Evoker because you can sit there, charge it, and it goes further. And I kind of think like they shouldn't just leave that only on Evoker. I feel like that mechanic has a lot of potential for other classes, like in this instance right here with Slicing Wind. So you got that Conduit, he uses Roar forced sacrifice. I couldn't crit him, so I'm really sad about that. Got feared away also. So we're just going to punch whatever's nearby, basically, and just maximize our damage, which is something I see a lot of players in PvP. They kind of just tunnel vision. They don't consider swapping when they're not able to move. And look how much pressure we're getting on the Death Knight now with that slicing winds through the anti-magic zone. Really fun ability. You want to be, I think you almost want to be pressing it on cooldown if you got it. Ring of Peace. I just bounced that priest behind the pillar out of line of sight of his team to prevent him from healing for a moment. There's all these really cool clutch things you can do with Windwalker Monk. They introduced Clash also. I think that was either in Dragonflight or the start of the War Within. I can't even remember at that point, which is like a pseudo death grip to pull targets closer to you, so you can stack them up for leg sweeps. I really felt like there was a lot more skill expression with Windwalker than I previously played with it before. It kind of just was like a damage bot that stunned people every minute, and that was pretty much all you could do. But now you've got a lot more options layered on top of that for patch 11.1. Obviously the numbers are tuned in your favor at the moment as well, but if there are any changes that come through, I'm going to be relaying them to you here on this channel, so make sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on them, because we're likely expecting at least some, right? Because the game is really fast. It's really fast. It's rough if you're a healer at the moment for sure, but now we got the next round with the Death Knight, and Windwalker Death Knight is a classic staple composition. So we're just going to get in on the Shadow Priest, start building up, getting our Rising Sun kick up for our Mortal Strike effect onto the target, and then we're just going to pop all our cooldowns after they've used a lot of their escapes, and Slicing Winds. We get to reconnect, we get to do a little bit of damage, pop some damage onto the target, calling in the Storm, Earth, and Fire, the Zwen, getting ready to connect with the leg sweep, Strike of the Wind Lord, big combo, just spending all of our chi abilities and just immediately forcing Disperse, swap over to the Hunter with our Celestial Conduit, start rocking his world, and they've managed to trade effectively and recover through the opener, but that's going to be generally our main burst window. I just press any buttons that light up. Like you can see, both Blackout Kick is lit up right now, and so is Spinning Crane Kick, but we need to get back to our target, so Slicing Winds. I can use it for mobility, I can use it for damage, lots of different uses for it. Really like it. It's a really fun ability. They've also reduced some of the keybinds on abilities, like in previous patches with Expel Harm now kind of just passively healing you. You have a tremendous amount of defensive cooldowns also. You just need to remember to actually press them. I've died a couple times of not remembering to press them. If you remember to press them, you can chain a lot of your defensive cooldowns together to survive for a long time. You got really good 1 versus 1. It was hard for me to get uptime because I didn't get any enchants on this character, so I don't have any of the move speed enchants. Everybody's just running faster than me. I just literally slapped on Conquest Gear. I was like, I need to get in some games and try out the specialization, but definitely would recommend that you make sure that you get some speed enchants, because you do move really slow if you don't have them. Roll back to the pillar, lay down a port, reposition, get ready to get back in onto the enemy team here. We've got Storm, Earth, and Fire coming up pretty soon. I can use Ring of Peace to interrupt an aim shot, make my way to the Hunter. As the Hunter's probably going to be a bit easier to kill than the Shadow Priest, but maybe I should have been on the Shadow Priest because my Death Knight's on the Shadow Priest, and this is my first time playing Windwalker Monk, so don't hate me here, guys, okay? I'm just relaying the message of what I've observed from Windwalker Monks that are vastly superior to me playing against them on my Boomkin earlier yesterday, and then my own experimentations and my own trials with specialization as a complete noob. So I've got nice insight from basically both perspectives of being a total noob and also from playing against it at a pro level, and I can tell you right now that it is really fun. It's absolutely destroying. It's rocking and rolling. Would highly recommend it. Look at this combo there: Death Grip and a leg sweep, Slicing Winds across the team. It absolutely smacks. Absolutely smacks. It is quite a treat to play, and if you'd like to follow along with my testing, I'm streaming as well. It's linked in the description down below, but that's basically the summary of it. That's the gist of it. Wanted to show you what its potential is from the noob and the pro perspective. And it's starting to win me over a little bit. You know, I feel like I'm kind of on the fence right now between marksmanship and Windwalker Monk, as far as like what I want to be dedicating a lot of time to. And maybe, you know, given some class changes, I was really setting my heart on probably Warlock. But maybe the changes, I'll be able to do that with Warlock. But Windwalker looks really cool this patch. It looks really cool, and it's got one of the sickest transmogs. So I'm obviously playing at least to get the transmog, because I want that Super Saiyan Mog more than anything. So we're going to be at least doing that, but in general, it's really fun. It's really fun, and you guys should play it. And I don't know why not many people play it. I don't know if people are just stuck in their ways. It's like they've always played the class they played, and they're not going to play anything new when new classes come out, and that's why its representation is low, or maybe it just wasn't fun before, or was too complicated or something like that. But I would say right now is a fun time to be playing Windwalker Monk. So thank you guys very much for tuning into the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.